to Talking with Teri TV. And on today's episode of Spilling the Tea, we are unpacking the dichotomy and the double standards of ageism. Now, be sure to watch till the very end because I have a juicy little hack that you can start to apply and start to play with today to make a powerful shift. Jane Seymour is making the news and really is speaking out about ageism. Let's take a look. Okay, here she is feeling unseen for her age. And again, there's some double standards here that we're going to unpack today. Now, the truth of the matter is energy is shifting more and more, and women are stepping into their power more than ever before on this planet. I recently interviewed Ryan Jayton, and he has a really powerful explanation from a male perspective on why this resistance is happening. So be sure to take a look at his interview as well. The conscious creators on this earth right now are being shaken awake, if you will, and they are tapping in, tuning in, and turning on their unique gifts. And in all fairness, those people that are stepping into their power, we are disrupting the status quo. Now, Jane Seymour is calling out the double standard. She's calling out the elephant in the room, if you will. So how the George Clooney's, if you will, are celebrated for their maturity and their experience, while the opposite is true for women in Hollywood. Now, we also know just recently Martha Stewart was making the news as well. She's also joined this movement about calling out the double standards. But guess what? With her, she is living her life on her terms, which is super inspiring. And when you think about when you let go of all the naysayers and you just stay in your lane of brilliance and you elevate to that lane, no one, you become untouchable, you become unstoppable, and that's a really powerful place to be in. So I'm going to teach you a little tool to help us all get into that state. The world is shifting every day in every way. So here's how we can shift it. The first thing is naming it, calling out the elephant in the room. For decades, and maybe even longer, this has existed in silence. And now it's being brought out into the open. And in my interview with Barbara Brooks a while back, I shared my own experience with ageism in kind of the reverse mechanism, if you will. But when we start to call it out and name it, it loses its power energetically, okay? The second thing is to release the judgments, okay? And this is going to sound wackadoo, if you will, but when we start to release the judgments on either side, okay, in all fairness, we start to create a mutuality. Instead of blaming one side for, being for it or against it or whatever the story is, which I know it's easy for us to do, but if we just stop judging the experience, and it is what it is, and now that we have awareness to it, we get to shift it, we get to transform it, we get to transmute it into the place and space that we like, okay? And so now we have a choice to change it. So the more we give power and the potency to the things that we do desire, we will actually shift the energy of it. And the beautiful thing is when more and more of us are waking up to this reality, we get to have a collective consciousness creation as a result of that. So ask yourself, what would it take for me for my gifts to be recognized to the fullest capacity? And or why is it so easy for me to serve the world with my gifts with total ease? And when we start to focus on what we do desire, we actually start to create that, okay? And so we also can utilize energy to our advantage to really magnify and amplify our brilliance. So okay, this goes out. This is a shout out to you, Jane. I'm going to invite you to play along. Okay. So when we're not being seen, and then we start to tell ourselves, I'm not being seen, we actually start to create that, okay? So while you're out and about, Jane, and you're sitting at that table or you're on that call or whatever the situation is, I want you to close your eyes, and you can do this before you leave the house or once you get there, stop the car, stay there, and just do this. So I want you to close your eyes for a second and just imagine going out to the far, 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 far ends of the galaxy, and past the billions and billions and billions of galaxies beyond that. So go out to the farthest place that you can imagine. And then what I want you to say is, I'm pulling masses and masses and masses amounts of energy from the universe to me and through me. And then just imagine it going through your kind of your heart chakra area. Imagine it coming out from the back and then having that energy come around, and just imagine sparklies coming down, helping you find more and more ways to achieve your desires. And when you're out and about, I'm going to let you guys play with this. So for everybody else that wants to, be seen and show up energetically and have that potency and that power with them, in your presence of being around others, play with this exercise and just notice what happens. So when you start to play with this, magical things start to happen. I'm not going to tell you what those are, because when you come back, I want you to put in the comments below what that is for you, okay? So imagine just pulling energy to you and through you, whether you're going to networking events, whether you're showing up for business meetings, calls, whatever that might be. Please, please, please play with this and just notice what happens for you and what's just for you. Because when you do, you start to align with the divine, and you start to magnify and amplify your greatest intentions. And that, my friend, becomes unstoppable within you. So play with this tool and let me know how it goes for you. And you can do this when you're standing in grocery lines, when you're at the stoplights, anytime that you want to play with this tool, it becomes really powerful. So drop in the link below, go play, and then I'd love, love, love for you to come and play with this in a bigger way. So subscribe, follow along, and as always, be brave, be bold, be fearless, be the magic of you. Massive love, and I'll see you on the next Spilling the Tea episode.